A federal judge has ruled the White House can host UFC matches on its South Lawn this weekend. The mixed martial art event is set for this Sunday on President Trump's 80th birthday. A recent court filing estimates the event has cost more than $60 million. Want to turn now to our panel, CBS News political director Fin Gómez, CBS News political contributor and Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha, and Republican strategist Leslie Shedd. And Fin, I want to start with this ruling.
Sure.
I mean, was this UFC event ever in jeopardy? And also just tell us what it was like to be at the Claw. You went a couple of times.
I did check out the Claw, but yeah, first on the legal ruling today, talking to legal experts, it didn't seem like this attempt had really any teeth to it, if you will. So yes, the judge ruled against it, clearing the way for this big event that's happening on Sunday. I did go down to the Octagon on the South Lawn of the White House. Look, this administration's seen a lot of political brawls, a lot of big brawls, nothing quite like this one, okay? You're looking at, there's gonna be 7 fights, a couple title bouts. I'm particularly looking forward to the former champion Alex Pereira. He's one of my favorites. I am somewhat of a UFC fan. Look, it is not without controversy, obviously because of the lawsuit. It's had its criticism, but just going down there and seeing it, nothing like this has ever happened in White House history. It's definitely not on the South Lawn there. Yes, Teddy Roosevelt held some boxing matches. They were kind of like friendlies, kind of famously, but nothing quite like this. 4,000 people are expected there on the South Lawn, including the president, some cabinet members, some other folks, and also we're told 75,000 people have been given tickets to watch the fight from the Ellipse, which is, as you know, right behind the South Lawn. But just seeing the Claw, as it's called, the Octagon, in person is just in itself is a pretty impressive engineering marvel, just objectively, just to see that. But it is quite the sight. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, well, I've seen it from the other side of the White House as it was being put up as well. But Leslie, to Finn's point, I mean, yes, this is an unprecedented event. And yes, it's the president's birthday. It's America's upcoming 250th birthday. But what's the rationale behind this? I mean, is the president just doing this because he can?
I think he's tapping into a non-traditional sporting event. And he's kind of showing people, hey, you know, the White House can be fun. It's not stodgy anymore. He's pulling it into modern times. I think back to other presidents that have kind of stepped outside the traditional box that people kind of put the presidency in and the White House in. And that's always generally made them more popular. You have Bill Clinton, right, when he went on MTV and got asked the famous boxer or brief question. And I think that resonated with regular voters. People like that.
For my friend Finn, I'd like to correct that the Roosevelt actually got in the bout and fought himself. Teddy Roosevelt did. He got in the ring. Yeah. And I give you all the money I got in my checking account if Donald Trump could even step that high to get in the ring. But I digress. The point about this is really interesting. And I agree with making it fun. But if you've got a Donald Trump tattoo on your body or you got a Let's Go Brandon flag on your boat, you think this is the greatest thing ever. If you're just a working stiff out there trying to make it every day, you're like, this is just another example of them spending money or somebody spending money when I ain't got no money. Whether it's their fault, the president's fault or not, the optics are not good heading into a midterm.
And I want to turn to something else, Chuck. I mean, obviously, we just mentioned ahead of this panel this decision today by a judge. Basically, in essence, it means now that the president's name has to come off of the Kennedy Center. Do you see this as a victory for Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who was really the first to challenge this?
Nicole, you make a great point. And when Donald Trump is not talking about gas and groceries, Democrats are winning. If we're having to talk about the Kennedy Center, the reflecting pool, knocking down a piece of the White House to build a ballroom, those are things the American people are saying, well, I don't really care either or. I just know that I can't make it as much. And Donald Trump and Republicans aren't talking about the cost of living, then it's going to be a good day for Democrats.
Finn, I also, because there were a lot of legal decisions today, so it was like UFC, it was the Kennedy Center, but also, interestingly, Finn, there was a judge who weighed in once again today on the White House's or the administration's anti-weaponization fund, basically continuing to block that fund. But what is interesting is that this judge said that she doesn't think that this fund is dead, that it's possible that it could rear its head again. Now, we heard from Todd Blanche a couple of weeks ago saying they're not going to proceed, but is there a chance this fund could be resurrected?
Well, I mean, according to her statement, yes. And I do think that when that happened, there are a lot of congressional Republicans who are probably wincing because they know that politically it's probably going to be a pretty big obstacle if that it does ever come to fruition. It has been there, as you know better than anyone, there has been some serious pushback, especially from Senate Republicans on this, especially we're 144 days away from the midterm elections. I think a lot of them were hoping that it goes away.
I also, Leslie, want to go back to what we talked about at the outset in terms of UFC. Obviously, there are a lot of big events coming up right now. We talked earlier in the broadcast about the World Cup. Again, we've got America 250 events, this all coming at a time where Congress has now left town without reauthorizing FISA. Yes, the president did name a new D&I nominee, but can he get confirmed?
I think he can. You've already started to see some Democrats come out, notably Mark Warner, who is the ranking member on SIPC, and Jim Himes, who is the ranking member on HIPC. So I think those are really good signs. I think he'll get confirmed. They've already scheduled the hearing. It's going to be next Wednesday. I wouldn't be surprised if they expedite this and get it done before the end of the month.
But Chuck, are these good optics for Democrats? I mean, they basically opposed this in mass numbers and left town, and it was all based on this acting D&I director, Bill Pulte. I mean, the president's named someone new. Why not stick around to renew FISA?
It's a great point. The Senate is staying here, but you're right. The House did leave town. And I think holding and looking at the difference, there's a big difference between Pulte and this new fellow from Manhattan that he's a judge. He's been around. He may not have all the D&I credentials, and I'm not sure what SIPC or BIPC is, but I know that probably means he's qualified because I know the other guy, Pulte, didn't. All he knew was IRS and housing forms.
All right. Well, a discussion to continue. More fun on a Friday with this panel. We want to thank you so much, Fin, Chuck, and Leslie.